Hello, everyone. Everyone out there in Facebook land. Welcome to All Things Made New's very first Mentoring Matters Facebook live stream. My name is Kayla Parker. I am the development director at All Things Made New, and very soon I will be bringing on all of our experts, the amazing staff of All Things Made New. But real quick, I'm going to talk about what this is and what we're doing here and what to expect and who we are, just in case you're unsure. If you stumbled upon this. So All Things Made New, as many of you probably know, is an online mentoring program. We are currently online because of COVID-19. We usually meet in person, but we have moved online and we do mentoring weekly for middle school and high school girls and boys, as well as teens, moms and pregnant teens. And then we also have an alumni group we just started. We wanted to start doing a little bit more communication with everyone and start conversations around mentoring and what it looks like and what we are so passionate about when it comes to youth mentoring. And so that's why we've created Mentoring Matters, which will be a monthly Facebook live stream. We're going to attempt to do it on the 15th of every month, but if that falls on a weekend, we might have to change it. We will always post an event on our Facebook, so make sure that you check out our Facebook events on our Facebook page so you don't miss out on the next Mentoring Matters. This Mentoring Matters is going to deal with all sorts of mentoring myths. So any sort of myths you might have about what youth mentoring looks like. If you have a comment or a question, please feel free to put them in our comments of the Facebook video. I will be checking them out and making sure that we're answering all of those questions and addressing all of those comments that you might have. But without any further ado, I'm going to invite on our experts. First up, we have Michelle Flores, who is the All Things Made New founder and president. So Michelle, if you want to get up here. Hi.
Hello.
Next, we have our programs coordinator, Devin Rodriguez.
Hello.
Devin. And then we have our family and community engagement coordinator, Aisha Mullen. Hi.
Hello.
All right, everyone, for the next 30-ish minutes, this is our expert panel here.
They are the experts.
No, you guys know what you're talking about, believe me. All three of these amazing people work in youth mentoring in different capacities. All of them know their stuff when it comes to youth mentoring, and I cannot wait for us to kind of delve into some of the myths that we all have when it comes to youth mentoring. We sort of talked about some topics that we come across. So in order to get started, we'll just talk kind of about what we talk about on a daily basis, which is different things that we encounter when we talk to people outside of mentoring about mentoring. If you followed that, that's great. So the first myth that we are going to talk about today is the myth of that youth mentoring is unsafe. And all of the safety issues and questions that people might have about youth mentoring. So I think I'm going to throw this one to Devin first, but everyone, I want to have a say on that. So
well, I'm so glad to be here. And I think that's a wonderful myth to talk about for sure, because it's important for families and parents to know that an effective mentoring program like All Things Made New definitely requires a background check. That should be like the thing that is done whenever pairing a student with a mentor, is just making sure that the mentors have passed a background check. One of the great practices that we have at All Things Made New is also ensuring that there's always 2 mentors in any small group session that we do. We also provide ongoing training to our mentors, check-ins with the mentors, the mentees, the parents. So we have a lot of good things in place, and that should be like the number one thing, obviously, that a parent does look into. But All Things Made New, we do a great job of just really vetting the mentor to make sure that it'll be a right fit and that the students are safe, because that's like our number one priority for sure.
Absolutely. So good, Devin.
Yes, because I think part of it is, we look at them as, kind of like we're a family. All Things Made New is a family, and it's not a check-in, check-out type of a thing. We want to really kind of walk alongside through their whole upbringing of middle school and high school, and celebrate with them and encourage them and be a part of their family, and then they're a part of ours. And so just like we wouldn't want something to happen to our children at home, we are going to take every measure and not compromise anything that could harm them or cause them more destruction.
Right. Absolutely.
In regards to sort of safety, what is sort of the onboarding process for volunteer mentors here that we can kind of speak to?
Absolutely. So we, all of our mentors fill out an application. We do a background check. We do a one-on-one interview. Right now, they're all over Zoom, but we do kind of a get to know them. They get to know us, and then we have them go through a child abuse training. We have them understand what mentoring is and is not. And then we have them shadow a mentor until they feel like they understand our culture, our atmosphere, and kind of our program goals. And then we'll allow them to lead a group with a counterpart.
Mm-hmm. And that child abuse training is not just take a quick test and end it. It is multiple hour-long videos that you watch to make sure that you know how to recognize child abuse, that you can recognize it in other mentors or for kids. And we re-up it every once in a while too. You have to retake it every year, correct?
That and the background check is done every year as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head, is that we see these kids as if they're our own kids. We want them to be as safe as our kids would be in any given situation. And we would never want to put them in a position that they ever felt unsafe, because mentoring can be kind of vulnerable. You open about your feelings and you talk about goals and dreams that you have in mentoring. And we never want a youth in our groups to ever feel like they are unable to do that because they feel unsafe.
Absolutely. And even after we, do the onboarding, we check up with them and ask them, follow up, what's working, what's not, really kind of develop that relationship with them. And then even do follow-ups with the kids as well to make sure that they feel, that they're comfortable to share and they feel like they're heard and not just talked to or talked at, because this is definitely a two-way conversation and not just a one-way street.
Mm-hmm. And even during mentoring, we have sort of fail safes as well, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we have 2 mentors that are adults in every single mentoring group to make sure that there's accountability and that there's like a backup and there's safety measures there as well.
Right. It brings different perspectives to conversations, especially now that we have so many wonderful social work interns. They bring a ton of knowledge to the table as well and help us really, create efficiency with all of that.
There's layers of support, we have layers of support in place for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I would encourage any parents who are watching this, if the program that you're having your kids sign up for or doesn't have all of these fail safes in them, doesn't have all of the different levels of support and different levels of checks, that you should really kind of question that, because the safety of your kids in a mentoring situation is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it can be done safe. It can be done safely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else on safety myths? No? Okay.
That was so good.
And if you guys have if anyone watching has any questions, put them in the comments. I'm keeping them up. If you see me look down every once in a while, it's to make sure we don't have any questions in there. But we're more than happy to answer them for you. Okay. So the next myth that we have is that mentoring is just counseling. That's what mentoring is. It's just counseling, right?
Not quite.
Why is that?
So what I'll do is I'll kind of focus on 3 different areas. So in the area of education, area of focus, and then the time length, probably going to be 3 differences that you'll find between counseling and then mentoring. So with education, that side of things, you're going to have a professional who's master's level or higher typically, and they're required by law to have a license when it comes to counseling. A mentor, on the other hand, could bring personal and professional expertise. And they don't necessarily have to, you know, their education, the requirement piece is not going to be as rigid, and there's not necessarily anything required by law. And then, of course, the area of focus. So with counseling, you're going to get a little bit more in depth in terms of those like cognitive wellness. So how are they functioning on a day-to-day basis? What's the disruption? And so it's going to be really looking to target in a more intimate, deeper level, looking even at traumas, so on and so forth. Whereas mentoring, it's not going to be that in depth. It's going to really look and shift. And let me say this, because with counseling and mentor, you both can kind of focus on the area of like life skills and character development, but that's where the difference lies with counseling. It's going to be more in depth, and it's really going to look at what's happening that's disrupting the daily functioning of the person that's receiving the support services. And then time length. So time length can be another difference between counseling, whereas depending on the professional's therapeutic modality of choice, it may be short term, and whereas with mentoring can actually be kind of lifelong, which it's not to say that counseling can't necessarily be lifelong. It really just depends upon, again, that professional approach, that theoretical approach in counseling. But mentor is a partnership. And so, yeah, those I would have to say are the three areas where there's a huge, kind of difference.
Yeah, and I would like to add too, just the definition of a mentor, because I think that kind of encompasses itself, is that it's a friend and an encourager. And so, you know, like you said, it doesn't take an educational degree in mentoring to be a good mentor. If you're a good friend and you're a good listener and a good encourager, then you're a good mentor, because that's what it takes. And we all need encouragement. And it's, you know, you don't have to have this list of problems to qualify to be mentored. It's all of us can use encouragement. All of us can use a role model. All of us can use a friend. I have a mentor, and she pushes me and she motivates me and she encourages me. And so it's just such a beautiful thing. It's not like I have a problem and I need a mentor. It's right. I want to do great things, and I want a mentor to help me get to that point, to see my value, to see in something in me that I don't see in myself, and push me to that point. And so I think that's another great differentiation in that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that mentors and counselors could probably approach things like situations that might arise, like topics you might talk about differently?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think the difference is definitely going to be in terms of, again, what is the counselor focusing on? It'll be more in depth in terms of the goals, the plans that they come up with. It's going to be more in depth in counseling than it would be with a mentor. So remind me of your question. I don't know if I'm answering it in its full capacity.
I guess I can give like an example. So for example, if one of our teens is having issues with grades in school, mentors and counselors, would they kind of maybe potentially come up with different sort of ways of approaching that topic or ways of dealing with that issue?
Yes and no. I think you could potentially see this same type of approach. It really will just depend on, one, going back to the counseling side, what that theoretical approach is. It may mirror some of the things that you would see a mentor do. I honestly think the roles could even become like a partnership. There's value in both. And if a person is in counseling, that doesn't mean that they wouldn't benefit from a mentor type relationship, and that those goals that are being addressed could kind of extend, so to speak, from the counseling setting into the mentorship setting. So I kind of would like to approach it or think of it in that way.
I like
Absolutely. That. And I think that with our program, we are kind of that bridge. Like we get to be the bridge between school and home and, you know, other resources that they're receiving, and kind of just be that conduit and consistency throughout the time frame, without like limitations on a treatment plan or something like that, Aisha. But at the same time, we're available at any time. So they can reach out. There's not a restriction of, we have an appointment from this time to this time and you can only contact us then. We have some flexibility in that of being available.
It's like a natural, evolving, positive relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the beautiful things, just as our program continues to evolve, is that piece where the mentor, if they're noticing that there may be a need for additional support deeper, maybe, a kiddo that we're working with is presenting something that is out of the scope of the mentor, they can recognize we're having a program in place through our case management program that can say, hey, let's see how we can get them connected.
Absolutely.
So it's just kind of comes full circle.
Absolutely. Because it's almost like that herd mentality. It's like there's so many kids, but if we don't just want them to pass through life, we want them to be seen. We want to make sure that they are finding their purpose, finding their value, knowing who they are, having that self-confidence to not just be a follower, but to be a leader and to, really develop them and allow them to grow themselves. And through that, we're able to see different things just to help, whether it's, an activity or a counseling or a resource or whatever that is that we can help to kind of push into their scope of environment and help them to grow.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because like with the mentoring, it's such a relationship is such a major thing that a lot of times you have youth and kids and teens that just don't want to speak up to a counselor or to, in other different settings. And so what that does is allow it's an adult that's there in a positive relationship that's able to be there for that kid, where that kid feels, in an okay setting and safe and comfortable to where they're able to, start talking about things that they were probably reluctant with talking about before. And so that's where what you guys are saying as far as, then at that point, if they notice something, a mentor, then you can, help and direct that family to other resources. But it's just so crucial because so many teens and kids and don't really want to speak up when there's a problem.
That's so good.
Mentor is just, it helps build that relationship and that trust to where they're more apt to want to share and seek help or that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because let's face it, being a teenager in 2020, holy moly. No, thank you.
I wouldn't want to
out to them. I know.
It's real. Resilience.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing amazing.
They are.
Because it's definitely not an either or. Like, I think that's what, because I think sometimes think of oh, well, I guess I can go to therapy or I can do mentoring. Like, no.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because I think the answer is to who is mentoring for, and that's just it's everyone. Everyone can use support in your life.
We all need mentors.
Exactly. Because let's be honest, life is tough and no one is exempt from struggles. None of us.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the big things that we're definitely learning during COVID, and we'll definitely do one of these mentoring matters about mentoring during a pandemic because it's a whole but I think the thing we're learning is how important community is and how important having those people in your life that support and encourage you are, and especially to teens, but to everyone. And so being able to do that for a group of kids without having a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, but just because you're there and you're caring and you have the time. I think is really cool.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Last question, last myth. I've gotten no questions in the comments, so it's up to you guys out there in Facebook land.
Ask Devin a question. Devin wants to answer a question.
She's ready. She's been ready.
Otherwise, they're never getting answered.
She's been toned down. She's ready to come out and loud.
No, if you guys
I know it.
I'm not good at answering questions, that's fine too.
I love it.
Okay, but the last myth that we have is that youth mentoring is just another extracurricular. Yeah, it's just another thing to put on the college application. It's another resume builder, right? Right, that's right.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, it definitely is something you want to put on your resume. It definitely will help you, but it is so much. It's growing. It's meeting your goals. It's working hard. It's trying new things. It's having someone to reach out to. It's, building a community and a network of other people, and in a safe environment. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that there's not a lot of places where kids can try new things risk-free, for free. I mean, we don't charge for any of our programs. So being able to do something in a safe place with people who really don't judge you for anything. Like, we all make mistakes. We all mess up. Let's just keep going. Let's keep picking up the pieces and trying again. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is watching them grow. And my favorite little, this is not the quote that I was thinking of, but my favorite little seance is, we believe in them until they believe in themselves, because we all doubt ourselves, and we all, well, I don't want to say all, but a lot of people doubt themselves, and a lot of people don't see their full value and potential. And so we can see it in them and watch them grow, and then they become like a new person, and they don't even recognize the previous self. And so it's really just, it's awesome.
And then, like, if we flip it to like it just being something on a resume for a person coming out of high school, it's not. How do you guys feel about that? Like, what do y'all think about that?
I mean, it gives them so many skills and just experiences.
Absolutely.
Yes, it keeps them busy, but not just to keep them busy. It's not just babysitting. It's not just checking a box. It's really pushing them and holding them accountable, because I think accountability is a huge thing that the world can grow in, is accountability. And so if we can help each other be accountable, we can help them be accountable, teach them how to hold their friends accountable, then we're just, creating that ripple effect.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one thing we say often in program, is that this is not babysitting. We are not here to just occupy their time. We are here to help them grow, and that takes work.
Yeah,
it takes buy-in.
They get out what they put in. The kids who really commit and put their effort in and put it all on the table and are like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to meet my goal and whatever it takes. They're the ones that get so much more out of it. And we see that. Devin, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, like, even the mentors that are like in college or going to college, I found that a lot of them, they get so much out of it as well, because I mean, they're young adults and they're still experiencing life as all of us are. And sometimes it helps to hear a perspective, and it might make you change your perspective, because you know the right answers, but doing the right thing or making the right decisions is just a totally different thing. So sometimes just talking and being a mentor to someone else helps you reflect on, okay, well, how can I grow in this? Well, like, I'm talking about this, but am I doing that in my life? And so I think that's just a wonderful thing, that it's not just for the mentee, because obviously it is, but I feel like mentors, they grow as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have a good quote that I was going to plug right here that my friend Andy sent me. The key to being a good mentor is to help people become more of who they already are, not to make them more like you. So I think that's the amazing part, is taking these kids and just helping them, feed them, grow, something that you said this morning, Devin, like feed love, like let's grow, like water the love, and then the hate will dry.
So good.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so it's watering these kids and not trying to transform them or conform them to what, different ideologies are out there, but help them to know who they are, find their voice, build
their
themselves.
Purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it really speaks to that. It speaks to the idea that the youth that we work with really do get something out of this, and they're in it, and they want it, that we've created an alumni group, because we've had kids who graduated high school and they're like, no, I still want to come, and I still want support, and I still want to have this community and this family that we've built to continue. So
in fact, we just had one sign up like an hour ago. Another one. But yeah, absolutely, because we never want to not be a part of their lives. Like, that's where, well, I'll speak for myself. Like, that's where I find my joy, is watching them like run, soar, do new things, try new things, break those cycles, break the limits, like just go for it, and know that we are behind them and we're here to encourage them and push them, because we do push them, and that's where we grow,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That does not sound like just another extracurricular. I'm going to be honest with you guys. That sounds like just another extracurricular.
Right.
Well, those were our 3 major myths that we wanted to talk about. Does anyone have any sort of like final thoughts or anything that didn't quite fit into what we were discussing that you wanted to talk about? It's okay if it's no.
No, but we're here and we're, ready to continue a conversation. If anyone has any questions or just wants to know more or, wants to help in any kind of way or knows another way that we can partner with a group of kids or whatever, like we're here. We're here for whatever.
Yeah, so let me do my quick plug, and
Yes.
that will give people more time to put in resources they think we should be looking at, or have their
Awesome.
comments about the discussion, or just say hi like Andy did. We're totally fine with just hi's.
Hi! Hey, Nancy!
But we will be doing this every single month. Next month, and I promise you I'll think of a better name for it, but next month we're going to be talking about youth trends. So we hang out with teenagers weekly. And they got stuff to say, and they've got stuff on their mind, and they are going through a pandemic, and they're doing school from home, and they've got all of these different thoughts and experiences and feelings that they share with us. And we're going to kind of talk about some of the trends that we're seeing in our youth mentoring right now. So I'm really excited about that. I think it'll be really interesting. So check us out. It should be around the 15th of the month next month, but I have not checked to see if that's a Saturday or not. So the closest weekday to that day, we will check back in. Also, if you watched this and thought, well, gosh, I think mentoring sounds like a really good idea, and you have a teen that you think would benefit, or if you're a teen watching and you're like, I really want to be a part of that, you could absolutely join us. Go to allthingsmadenew.net. And you'll find all the information that you need there to sign up. We are accepting new participants hourly. We are on top of it. If you thought, hey, I think I'd really get something out of mentoring, we are currently all full up for mentors, but we will absolutely get you on the list. We will get you onboarded and ready to go when we get more youth participants. We also have other volunteer opportunities, so you can contact us to learn more about those. If you're like, this is something I'd really love to support, there are donation opportunities available on our website too. But otherwise, that's my whole plug for All Things Made New.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
No questions, you guys. We covered the entire.
We nailed it.
Everyone is fully educated on mentoring this. I want to thank all of you guys, you 3 amazing women who I get to work with every single day, for bringing all your insight and knowledge and passion and love.
Love y'all.
Yes. Heart.
Love, love.
Devin does them
I'm
better.
holding my phone so I can only do a half a heart. But I love y'all.
And we'll see you guys here next month.
Yes. Yay.
Bye.